Okay, folks, you're welcome to Lanigan's Irish Bear here on 111th, down on the south side of Chicago. Like to welcome you to our preview night, the Up for the Match, or Up for Our Match, and we've got a few guest speakers here, so it's just a little preview night for the Chicago finals on Sunday, and we've got a couple of players from some of the teams, a couple of personalities, and a few well-known characters from the Chicago GA scene. So on my left-hand side is my old sidekick, John Gurry, all the way from Sligo. And I'd like to welcome you, John, and to the preview night. And I'm sure it's building up to be a great weekend of football.
Yeah, there's two great teams in the senior final, and we have the ladies final, and of course Pierces are in both finals. They're playing the McBrides and the intermediate.
Yeah, Pierces have had an exceptional season so far. They've qualified, as you said, in both codes, intermediate and senior. So it's a huge weekend for all clubs concerned. So it's going to be a tremendous weekend of sport out there, of football on Sunday. So and after the success of the CYC last weekend, I'm sure it's going to be no exception this weekend. So without further ado, I'm going to call on my first two guests. We have Rory Gallagher from the Parnells, and also Luke Mulholland. Welcome, guys.
Welcome, guys.
So
Luke, you're from Antrim, right? Yes, I'm from Antrim. And your first your impression so far of the Chicago scene?
Yeah, it's been great. Even the standard of football is surprisingly a very high standard. And I said to most people, even the intensity, it's very similar to home. Maybe playing at the county, the level of players out here, and the standard of the guys who maybe only picked up a football 3 or 4 years ago, the American lads, has been exceptional as well.
And did you hear about the Parnells before now?
Yeah, I've heard of a few teams over here. I'd reached out to a few teams, and the Parnells seemed to be the one that I thought was going to be best suited to myself, so that's why I went with them. So.
Yeah, and you've played well all through the season, and of course, if you win this, you got look forward to the North Americans.
Yeah, that's one. I've obviously heard of the North Americans before. It's a big competition, and it would be nice. Hopefully, if we can come out the right side of the game on Sunday, that'll be nice to compete in that competition as well.
And Rory, you're from Galway.
No, so I'm from here. My parents from Donegal.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I came up through the youth system here, so I played for the Jarlets coming up.
Right.
And then came into the Parnells then after my minor year.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Irish American guys breaking through now on the Gaelic scene. It's great to see.
Yeah, there is. From our minor year, there must be nearly 10 of us that were playing senior this year between the Patriots, Tones, McBrides, and Parnells. So, and there's a bunch of younger guys too. There's a lot of the minors from this year I know are very strong. So the future's looking good.
And you have Tom Gillen, which as well.
We do have Tom Gillen, of course.
Yeah, and how have you felt the standard is so far? It's hell for leather with 30 in the side, isn't it? You're never free for too long.
No, yeah, it's been a great standard this year. Last year, obviously we had no one come over, so the standard was a bit different. This year's been crazy in terms of players coming over, so it's been a really very, very competitive championship. Obviously, it came down to the very end. Every game mattered, so yeah, it's been great.
just a quick question about Sunday's game. Where do you think the winning and losing of Sunday's game is going to be? Where's the crucial areas on Sunday?
I'd say around the midfield. I'd say around 50-50 balls. I'd say it'll be a close game. Obviously, we split with them. We beat them once they beat us once. So I'd say it'll come down to who's going to win the 50-50 balls, the dirty balls, and yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah, and you're all up for it. You're ready for it, I'm sure.
I cannot wait, 100%.
So your final training session was last night?
Yeah, last night.
So everything went well?
Yeah, everything went good. Intensity was high this week again, as it's been all summer. We have a great group over this year, a lot of leaders, a lot of guys that talk, so nothing's changed. So it's been great.
I remember when I used to play football about 200 years ago, we used to finish off a training session with a big game on the horizon by going down to the local and having 7 or 8 pints. I don't think that's the way nowadays, no.
No. Hopefully, maybe Sunday night. We'll see what happens Sunday.
Sunday night, I'd say. It'd be a bit of fun, yeah. Luke, obviously Sunday's a big day for you. and Antrim and the home club at home and all the family at home. So I'm sure you'd want to say hello to everyone.
Yeah, I'm sure the parents are watching at home and my own club mates at home. So I'd like to say thanks for them for supporting me in the opportunity. It was hard for them, especially my own club. We got to the senior final last year, and to take the commitment to take a year out from them and sign as a home base this year was a hard decision. But once I kind of made that decision, everybody backed me, and like I couldn't thank them enough for backing me.
Is this your first time away from home for the summer, or have you been anywhere else?
No, this would be my first year. Like, I'm only 20, so I'm only out of school not that long. I'm only kind of playing senior football a couple of years, so this is my first time away from home, especially for longer than a couple of weeks.
Good man. And of course, you couldn't be involved with a better couple of guys than Ingy and Noggy. I gave you a bit of a spiel the other day on the podcast, and you're out working laying brick with the boys, right?
Yeah. Yes, me and the other fella who came out at the start, Connor. Connor's a bricklayer at home, so they try to say I was too pretty for the work site, but I was sent with Connor, and to be honest, we couldn't have fell in with two better lads. Looked after us no matter what we needed. Nearly every Friday when you leave the work site, it's always, do you need this? Make sure if you have this, do you need this? Come over for dinner, anything you need. And especially on a Sunday, there might not be two Parnell's men, but the first two men to shake your hand when you come off the pitch on a Sunday. So they've definitely been great for both of us.
That's good. Well, it's all about the bigger picture and the bigger family. And tell us this: did they dress the blisters on the hands?
Yeah, I'm surprised that I get some looks at myself when they're standing up in the scaffold. They take some look at me, being like, "You can tell that you haven't been on a work site before." So, but no, they're very good. This, and the crack's good. We get a lot of slagging, but it makes the day go in, makes it all a bit easier.
I think Scruffy, you'll agree with me that all down through the years, all the players that have come out here, of course, Rory, you're living here, it's a little different, but the lads that come out, they make network and they make friends for life. And I certainly know, and so does Scruff know, a lot of players that have been out here 40 years ago and they still come back. So I'm sure in years to come you won't be a stranger.
No, definitely not. Even a lot of the guys in our teams, though they're from other counties and you know of them and you play against them, but you could never really imagine yourself being your friend. But then as soon as you meet especially Roy, know as well, you meet the lads from other counties, and now it feels like you've known them your whole life. So like I said, it all makes it a lot easier to settle in and make sure you can enjoy yourself at the same time.
That's good. I never asked you, what are you studying in college at home? What are you going to be? What are you going to be when you grow up?
I studied business admin, so I work for McKeever Sports at home. So they've been great too, though I was in the middle of a course, and when this opportunity came, I kind of went to them and said, this is something that I want to do, and they backed me as well, though I have a job there, I want to go home, and they supported me through it, so
good stuff, great stuff. All right, well, Scruffy, have you Anthony, other words of wisdom for any of the boys there? I think they've spoken very well, fair play to them, and given us a great old insight into what's going on in the Parnells.
Yeah, Rory, I'll just ask you one final question. How have the county players improved the training that you guys can learn new stuff?
Oh, significantly. I mean, there's so many of them. They teach us. We can learn a ton from them. Just in terms of intensity, first of all, leadership. There's at least I couldn't count how many like seriously good leaders that we have this year. And then just in terms of quality of play, obviously they're another level. So that can only help us. And yeah, our trainings have been great this year from the start. So
thanks very much, lads, and the very best of luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys, and the very best of luck, as Scruffy said. Thanks, Rory. Thanks, Luke. Yeah, I think the Parnells are in a great shout. Obviously, it's going to be a great game. I'd say, Scruffy. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, we'd like to make it clear that Mary did invite the Pierces here, but they're prepared for the final tonight. They have a final training session, and they're a long way from here. So
right,
it's not a one-sided thing here.
Yeah.
So we have two other men here now that. With one of the main men with the Parnells, we'd like to call up James Staunton, and I'm going to call up another man that I met when I came here in 1986, and he's a Cavan man, and of course he has his son playing for the Parnells. That's Paddy Sheridan.
All right, lads, come on up. James and Paddy, you're welcome. You're welcome, James. Welcome, Paddy. That's what it's all about, Paddy. Being put on the spot.
Paddy, you came here, and I think it was 85, was it?
No, 81.
81. I didn't think you were. I didn't think you were that old, but I had the great pleasure of working with you for Coil Concrete.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, now, Scruffy, it wasn't. You didn't work really. You turned up. Nevertheless,
I know the feeling, Paddy.
you put in the hours, and that was the main thing, you know.
Yeah, John Coyle, a wonderful man.
Oh yeah, well, John Coyle, probably one of the best Mayo men ever you could meet, from Gisala, just outside Belmullet, and he looked after many. He's a not Mayo man, anybody that came from our neck of the woods or Ireland really. So John was 100%, and still is 100% good man. Yes.
And you have a very proud moment on Sunday. The young lad Rory is togging out for the Parnells.
Yes, my son Rory is togging out. He's been a dairy farmer in Missouri for the last 6 years, so he's just back playing football now, and he seems to be going fairly good.
Fair play to him.
Hopefully he'll do it on Sunday.
He's obviously not afraid of elders and mucky tails. I used to milk cows by hand at home a long time ago, and I used to get the swish of the tail into the pulse, and it wasn't not a nice feeling.
Ah no, but what Rory does now, what they were doing the last couple, they cut the tails of them now. So they do.
They're getting smart now. James, it's I'm sure a very proud day for you. You're a great Parnells man for years and years, and the build up to this final, I'm sure it's extra special because with the North Americans in Chicago this year, it's a huge incentive to go on and represent Chicago at those finals.
Yeah, John, thanks for having me on, boys. Absolutely, it's a privilege to be, when we started out this year, the aim was to be part of the North Americans, to be in the final. It's a huge privilege for us to be here. As you know, it's hard work. Every team puts their heart, soul into it, into this year, into being in the thing. So it's just fabulous to be here. So,
I'll leave you that one. In terms of to give people an insight into the logistics and the running of a club and the financials and everything else that goes behind the scenes. I mean, the commitment that it takes year on year is huge, and it's the likes of yourself and all the lads behind the scenes that makes it happen. So just give us a quick insight into what it takes, fundraising, getting players, calling them, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to name all the player, everybody that's involved. You know what I mean? It takes a whole thing to run it, but Frankie Sheridan, John Cunningham, the amount of work we put into this every year, in and out. A lot of years it doesn't go your way, but we just keep coming back and coming back and coming back, and it's just like I said, it's a privilege to be here this year. It's a big year. It's a thing, and
Right, and of course the satisfaction that you get from making it to a final and from your point of view hopefully winning the final is huge. And we all dream about winning county titles at home in our own clubs, but it's equally as big out here.
Yes, it is. And obviously it's as always, it's the home based. You can bring what you want out of town, but it's always going to be the home based thing. And it's like the boys you met here tonight, Rory Gallagher. He's put his heart and soul into Parnell's football since he left minor 4 or 5 years ago. He trains 4 or 5 nights a week. It's unbelievable what he puts into it.
Yeah.
Rory Sheridan coming back from being off football for 6 years, coming back and the shape he's in, the fitness is just unbelievable.
Incredible.
What he has put into it.
Yeah.
James Doherty, another man from Missouri that has the shape he's in. Being out of football all the time, it would be very easy to say,
right,
we're done with it, but they're not. So this year is just unbelievable for the Parnells, and hopefully it comes out of it at the right end. But whether it does or not, the amount of effort that's put into it and
huge.
And to be here is just unbelievable.
Yeah. As you said, the home based players, Pat, is hugely important to every club, and it's the cornerstone of every club. The success that they have.
Well, that's for sure. But I have to say with this, the likes of Frankie, Sheridan has put so much effort into the whole thing. The man he lives for Parnells, and I think, I know the rest of the lads, James and Shrek, and all them lads put so much in. But I'm looking at Frankie for years now, and Frankie, Jesus, he just lived for the Parnells, and I'd be hoping for everybody, for all the lads, that the Parnells do win it, but for Frankie especially, because I mean Frankie, the Parnells is Frankie's life, and you know what I mean. So he deserves credit for what he puts into it, you know.
I really admire the Parnells. They wouldn't have the biggest membership in town. I don't know how many members they have, but James, it's always you and Frankie seems to be to the fore on the sideline. Have you ever said to yourself the last 5 or 6 years, screw it, I'm not going to do this anymore?
Yeah, sometimes you think, you know, what's it all about, but, you know, football is football, and that's what we live for, you know.
And James, you've assembled an incredible squad. That takes a lot of time to calling players and lining up work for them and all this. And you have two of the last year's All Ireland winning team. You have Rian O'Neill, and you have lads from down. It's just takes so much work lining up a squad like this.
Yeah, all that credit would have to go to Frankie Sheridan. I mean, how he does it, I don't know, but somehow he does it. And we're thankful for it, but you know, it's somehow he can pull it off. I don't know how he does it, but he does.
I always thought, looking at Frankie Sheridan, he looked a lot like Paul Daniels. he's able to pull monkeys and rabbits out of hats, and players out of counties, and pigeons. But it's a huge testimony to the all. I mean, it's not just a one-man thing; it's a team thing, and it obviously works really well for the Parnell. So well done to you both, and it's a pleasure having you lads. And of course you can, Pat.
These lads are going down a bomb back at home. Actually, they're like the two Ronnies, to be honest with you. And it's a credit to you lads. It's your wit and your humour, and that's what get everybody going. I know that they were watching this in a pub back in Kingscourt last Saturday evening, and they thought it was hilarious. In fact, they thought the game was entertaining, which was 100%, but they said the two commentators were actually more entertaining. So best of luck, lads.
And Paddy, I'll just mention another name. He passed away a few years ago. He was a tremendous friend of ours, and it was our headquarters when we came out here, John Kivlan.
Oh yeah, well, John Kevlin, who owned the Innisfree Inn, was an out-and-out gentleman. People used to mistake Scruffy for a brother of his, but John totally denied it, and you can understand that too.
He had a bigger checkbook than me at the time, but I understand that. So Paddy, hopefully I'm going to see you at Christmas. My cousin is getting married just down the road from you in the famous Cabra Castle.
That's for sure, Scruffy. And there's a sleeping bag there, welcome for you anytime.
Thank you, Paddy, for joining us.
Just before we finish, I just want to say, you know, the Purnell's team this year hasn't just came this year. It's from the past. There's been players from the past that has put effort into this. You know, to mention one or two is Greg McCabe from Armagh. You know, we have a lot of Armagh boys this year. Three of them in particular that this year is Barry O'Hagan, Conor Mackin, boys that have come back from the years past. They've been with us 3 years. Garrett Devlin. Without them this year, we wouldn't be in this position we're in.
Yeah,
they were with us before. It didn't work out. They came back. I just can't give them enough credit.
I've already said this year, James, that I always said Devlin is as good as a county player, and he's in brilliant shape this year.
Yes, he is, and I mean, without him, we wouldn't be where we are.
And a great character, great character.
And it just everybody's put their heart and soul in it. They're a great bunch of guys, the Purnells this year. Not a problem with them. So
yeah, I don't know if I was saying this to you, James. I was actually in here a couple of weeks ago, and I was sitting there at the bar, and I was having a beer, and the next thing I was looking at, as it turned out, was Garrett Devlin. And I was saying to myself, "Jeez, I know this lad well." And he was looking over at me, and we had crossed paths a couple of years ago because he was out. And I'll tell you one thing, it was the sorriest thing that he met me that night anyway, because I'd said it was 3 o'clock in the morning before we went home. So sorry, James, mightn't be in the greatest shape the following day, but I'll tell you one thing, we drank some beer that night.
Well, hopefully it wasn't last night, so.
No. We might let it rip again Sunday night.
Yeah.
Best of luck, James, for Sunday.
All right, thank you, boys.
The best of luck,
Thank
lads.
you.
And thanks a million for joining
All
us.
right.
Not at all. Thank you. All right. Well done, lads. That's James Staunton and Paddy Sheridan. Fair play to them. And two proud. Well, Paddy, of course, was an ex-Brendan's man, but fair play to him for coming on, and thanks to James as well, one of the finest of all time. Next up, Scruffy, I think we have two lads from the McBrides, and we've got Dylan Reynolds and Mike Kelly, I believe. So come on up, lads, for shaving. Fair play to both of them. They made the trip down from the north side, so I appreciate it. And you've been waiting patiently there for the last hour or so. So, Mike, how you doing? Man, Dylan, good. So thanks for your patience. I'm sure you were taking some of Nicky's hospitality. They are the one of the greatest Galway men of all time. Like yourself, you're a Galway man.
I am indeed. Sorry. Yeah, Curfin man. Yeah. Harry, it's just a pleasure to be over here now. In fairness, enjoying the summer. It's
how do you find? Is this your first time here, or were you here before?
I was here visiting. I have a first cousin here living down south, Paul Reynolds. I was over in 2019 for small stint at the start of summer, but it wasn't long enough for football season. So
you're enjoying this year, I'd say.
Stop! It was it's unreal. It's class. Stop! Make any young lad want to come back out.
I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mike, you're welcome, and commiserations last weekend. You were contributor in no small part to a really wonderful game of football, probably one of the best games in years and years here in Chicago. And you know, the people online, everybody from Ireland, from here, they were treated to a wonderful exhibition. So well done, commiserations. I'm sure you were disappointed, but it was a great game, I'm sure, to be involved in.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously it didn't go our way. You know, we had a good year, playing against a very good team, and look at everyone's been saying, you know, everybody left it out there, so you can't ask for much more than that. And I wish the best of luck to the Parnells in the final. You know, they were the better team on the day.
Fair play, gracious words.
Yeah, and it's great to see the intermediates in the final, Mike. It makes. I know it doesn't make up for losing the senior, but it's a big day out for these lads.
Yeah, it is. These lads probably been a little overlooked, maybe. You know, they've been working very hard all summer, and it's nice for them to get a good big day out down at Gaelic Park. There'll be a big crowd there, I'm sure, and you know, it'll be nice to come away with something after a hard year of training, and you know, hopefully it goes our way this week.
Can't be overlooked that it's two Northside rivals.
Exactly, yeah. You know, the Pierces are a great club as well as McBride's, and we've gone at it over the years many a time, and yeah, I'm sure it'll be a feisty affair, and I'm just hoping this week it goes our way.
Where do you see the key battles? Of course, midfield is a huge area, Mike, in these games, and of course, forwards performing well, getting into space, using speed is a big thing too.
Yeah, I would say midfield is definitely the key battle, and then just making the right shot options. You know, there will be chances. You just got to make the right decision. Make sure that the guy in the best position is the guy that's taking the shot, or you have your guys that are natural scorers. Make sure it's them that's taking a shot. You know, not a guy that's after running the whole length of the field in the heat. He's tired. You know, small things like that can be a big difference in a game.
Right.
And it's got, there's a big prize at stake for both clubs, Mike. They're going to the North Americans and they're here.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's a big day out, big prize from winning this. Not only do you get to win a Chicago title for your club, you get to represent Chicago in the North Americans. I was lucky enough the last time I was here to be able to do that, and it's a great weekend, a lot of hype, one of the best weekends of my life. So
I think we can't let the occasion go, Mike, without mentioning a man called Paul Towie last Sunday. I don't know whether everybody knows this or not, but he broke the record for scoring in Gaelic Park. He scored 117 and a marking a player that was on the All Ireland winning team last year. And I don't know whether anyone else knows that the record was held since 1985. Matt Connor was the record holder with 16 points before your time, Mike.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate out here to play with some very wit and against some very talented footballers. Paul Towie is definitely at the top of that list. He's very fearless. It was a very physical game. He's not a huge man, and I'd go to battle with him any day. It was fantastic. He just kept on bouncing back, and he scored 117, or say 9 of them were frees, but he won nearly all the frees that he scored. So that's after getting fouled, that free is a lot harder than just a 14-yard free. They weren't easy ones either. So yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a massive achievement.
Yeah, he was, and no more than yourself, very gracious in defeat. I spoke with him at length for probably half an hour after the game, and because I was intrigued to see, how he hadn't figured for Mayo before this, but probably things didn't fall his way. I think the game suited him out there, little extra space and stuff like that. But it's going to be very interesting in the coming league campaign for Mayo to see if he's going to figure, because he's one of the big stories that's going to come from this championship, I'd say.
Oh, for sure. I would say he's still very young. That Mayo team, that unit's been together for a long time, so it's hard to break into a team that's been on the road for a while. I think he probably got the reins were taken off. He was able to, play freely and do his thing. And yeah, after that performance and how he played out here, I would definitely be hoping to see him in the red and green next year for sure.
How can't let it go without asking you your opinion. Who's your fancy pick, man on the inside, Tour McCady man? Who do you fancy taking over Mayo? It's competitive, a lot of interested heads.
I'm not sure. I don't know who wants that job, but it's a tough job to take. I wish them the best of luck. I know I'm not throwing my name in the hat, but
myself and Scruffy were thinking about going for it.
Even enough stress on you.
I suppose, yeah. We don't do stress, Mike. But I'm sure they'll make the right choice. Kevin McStay seems to be the front runner for it, but you'd never know. Ray Dempsey came out with a very strong backroom team with him there the other day, and it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah,
so
whoever gets it, I'm happy for them. I do like McStay. I think his football knowledge is top notch. He's been with RT for a number of years. He's been with successful teams with Roscommon and St. Bridget's, right? Mm-hmm. And he's gone the whole way with them. So I don't think the job is above him. That would probably be who I would like to see it. If it's kept in house, depends what the county board is looking for.
Right. Well, we wish all applicants the very best of luck. It's a tough job, as you say, but. Nonetheless, it's going to be a great challenge for whoever gets it. So, and of course, Dylan, your own county in an All-Ireland final this year, they went very close, probably one or two players short. What did you think of it?
Well, it was, I suppose, not a shock, but it wasn't seen by the rest of the county to see us in there. But when Paul Joyce took the job, his eyes were set on an All-Ireland final at least and a win. So you have to hold him up and say he done well in getting us at least that far, and the boys that were there with him, like the big names like Shane showing up in the day, like he was unreal. Like he was probably a man of the match performance on any other day of the week. But you can only be proud of the lads. You can only be proud of them. Like
it was a great performance. They probably missed crucial scores at crucial times.
There is that in it, but. Yeah, I suppose there's no looking outside of that. It's just I suppose experience. Kerry boys, they've been there a few times. they have the sharpshooters, not that we don't, but at the same time, they've been there, they've been at the pressure point. Our lads, maybe not so much, but it'll only stand to them.
I think there's only one way to beat Kerry in the final. I keep saying it to Kevin Murphy here, a good friend of mine who comes in for a beer. There's only one way to beat them in a final, Scruffy, is with an ash plant. Like your old horse. But anyways, listen lads, thank you very much for joining us. Pleasure, Mike, and thanks again for your wonderful play last week and all the McBride's boys. And Dylan, the very best of luck on Sunday. And as from your point of view, hopefully you'll bring the gold home. Hopefully. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks lads. Thanks very much. Fair play, Heath. Thank you. Well done, Dylan. Well done, Mike. Two great lads, Scruffy. Mike Kelly, a great servant to the McBrides.
Absolutely. He's a great target man, and he's a very good goalie.
Good goalkeeper as well, dual purpose. Yeah, I used to do an impression myself one time of Bruce Grobbelaar with the wobbly knees. Didn't work out too good though. No, I have to say.
Could be bought. I know there's no Pierces here, John, but it's only fair we talk a little bit about them. And
yeah.
This is, while I've tipped the Parnells all along to win it from day one, it's going to be no pushover here. It's going to go down to the wire. The Pierces have an incredible team.
They have, and one thing that struck me about them, they've no superstars. They're a very solid unit. They're obviously very, very together, very tight knit, and they're going to be a tough nut to crack for the Parnells on Sunday.
Another thing I liked about them, they were 6 down against the Tones and they didn't panic, and they have a great midfielder there, O'Donovan, and while we were looking for Paul Towie last Sunday, look for spectators coming to the game, look out for a Leitrim man. He'll be number 13 Sunday. His name is Colm O'Reilly. He's an incredible player.
Is that the lad that
he lives in Wisconsin?
Oh yeah, I was going through the bios there, Scruffy, and it said there's another lad I think from Leitrim. I don't think that's him.
Yeah, he's from Kieran. Yeah.
His claim to fame on a GAA field was on his way to a match he got a puncture and he changed the wheel and he still made it for the warm up. So any man that's able to change the wheel of a car and make it for a warm up.
There's still glory in junior football in Leitrim, John.
By Jesus, there is. Fair play to them.
I'm a bit surprised sometimes at the line-outs out here. I guess that's why I'm not lining out the teams. But Lurkin Daly there, he was a fringe player from Roscommon. He doesn't seem to have been used at all by the Pierces. I'm really surprised at that. And they've kept Desi Moan. I know Desi is 38, but he was one of my favourite players when he played. He was a brilliant attacking half-back. He was an all-star nominee 7 years ago. And for their sake, I hope to let him loose because he's a tremendous attacking player.
Yeah, he's been a great impact sub in all the games that I've seen of the Pierces. He's been brought on, and he has caused trouble for defences. He belies his age really, and he still retains a good bit of pace about him. He's a great man to win the ball and a good man to take a score. So, certainly the Parnells will be wary of him on Sunday, I'm sure. Yeah,
of course, Rory Moan was one of the best forwards to probably ever play here, and when he was with the Tones, but he's done a great job this year with the Pierces, and he has them absolutely super fit. I don't know whether, I'm sure Desi is involved in assisting in the training, but I think you're going to have two of the fittest teams here that has participated in years.
Yeah, Rory, as you said, a great servant to Chicago GA, long-time player with the Tones. He's done phenomenal work with this Pierce's team. He's got them in great shape and he's got them together, and so
I think it's going to be a fierce, intense game. The man we talked to earlier, Luke Mulholland, has done really well with kickouts, and so has the Pierce's lad. But I think kickouts are going to be vitally important, crucial in the middle of the field. And Rian O'Neill against O'Donovan is going to be
it's going to
be a big battle.
Titanic.
And then you have Conor Myler probably so far, I would stick my neck out and say he's been the player of the tournament. He's a real worker. He cares about the game. I'd say he's come here determined to add to what he has on the sideboard so far. He
has an engine of a
he is absolutely
truck.
incredible with the hits he can take, and he does not lose the ball. He's a very, very smart player as well.
Yeah. This is an intriguing battle. It's there's two really great sides and different approaches probably. You've got stairs in abundance on the Parnell's team, not so much on the Pierce's side, but they don't certainly lack for effort. So it's going to be an intriguing battle.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to the ladies' final with the Aisling Gales and the Bridgets. It's as we know, ladies football has come on leaps and bounds, and we have seen what Meath have done the last 2 years. Donegal have been very close, so have Galway, and so have Kerry. So there's a lot of stars on the ladies here too. This is going to be a great entertainment on Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We've seen the semi-final last Sunday between the Aisling Gales and the Rovers, and it was a great game of football, a real game of two halves. The Gales, were seemingly out of it. With 10 minutes gone in the second half, they were 8 points down, and they somehow battled their way back, into the game. A couple of girls in particular played really well. So yeah, like you said, the ladies' game is very much on the up, and it's going to be a great final, I think, on Sunday as well. It's going to be really entertaining stuff.
So for the neutrals who would only usually come to support their team, I think it's well worth coming for the 3 games.
Absolutely. First game is at 1 o'clock. It's the intermediate lads. Of course, the McBrides and the Pierces at 1 o'clock. 2:30 we've had the ladies' final, the Bridgets and the Gales, and then of course at 4 p.m. the main event, the senior men's final between the Parnells and the Pierces. So it's going to be a great festival of football on Sunday. I think they're very closely matched teams in all 3 games, and it should be a really great spectacle.
And it's great to see the crowds back. I think last Sunday week there was, judging by the gate receipts, and they don't charge kids or older people, I think there was like 1,400 people there.
Yeah, huge crowd of people, and a wonderful atmosphere. It was great to hear the cheer, that went up for every score that went over. And as I said before, we got a game that befitted the occasion, and the crowd and the atmosphere was fantastic. And hopefully through this and the little bit of online stuff that's been done the last couple of weeks, the profile of the whole thing is raised, and it should be as well, because we're hosting the North Americans this year. So it's great to see people back out in Gaelic Park. It's lovely to see the family as well, the kids and everything, buzzing around the field and seeing these players that have given so much time and effort.
And we can't go without paying tribute to Gaelic Park. The place was never in as good a condition, and I have people calling me from New York and saying, why do we not have a place like this? Why do we have a dump in the Bronx? So, I mean, our place here, we can be proud of it. It is the best stadium outside Ireland for the GAA. There's nowhere else there's a stadium like this, and what they have done out the front with that garden and the new patio bar is just incredible.
It is, yeah. We had Larry McCarthy in the booth last Sunday, the president of the GAA. Pure opportunism. Mary and myself seen him. He was with Fitzy. We'll have Fitzy up here in a minute. And, it was great to have him, the president of the GAA, out in Gaelic Park in Chicago.
He's coming back for the North Americans.
Good. And, I tried to draw him on that. I didn't want to make him feel bad. He said he was at the opening match of Gaelic Park. But I said, Jesus, sure, we have the premier spot in North America, in Gaelic games terms. And he was looking at me and he says, he says, I know you're fishing for compliments here, but he says, look, it's a fine fixture. It's a fine, he wasn't giving much away. But of course,
he wasn't too pleased when you asked him for 4 tickets for next year's All Ireland.
he'd be less pleased when it increases to 8 in 2 weeks' time. But anyway, so we have another couple of guests, folks, to come up. We have one very proud Down man. I'm going to ask him. ex-North American board chairman, another man that I used to always ring for tickets and will again with the help of God, and the proprietor, or should I say the manager of the business, here that we're sitting in, Nicky Glynn. Nicky is after making a run for, I think he's gone to the bathroom. I was going to say the ladies, but he's gone to the gents. So
it's good to see him here. He nearly made a run out of the world.
He did. Myself and Nicky went home for a wedding there in May, and unfortunately he got
drugs.
A touch of the old heart. But he's bounced back. He's better than ever, and he's able to swallow an odd pint of Guinness, even though Laurie is keeping an eye on him now. But anyways. So, folks, welcome Garrett Fitzsimons, if you're there. Come on up and have a quick word with us. And Nicky, come on up. Fitzy is just getting the beautiful lady a drink. So she's fully plied now. Nicholas, come on up. Sit down here.
Another proud Parnell's man as it happens.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yes.
Nicky, welcome back. As I said, we're here in Lanigan's Bar. There's a famous song called Lanigan's Ball, but it's good to see you back, Nicky.
It's great to be back, actually. I'd like to thank everyone that sent me all the messages in the last few months. I appreciate it. Thanks. I'm back now. I'm twice smaller than Quinn. Little and fucking large here.
I sent you plenty of messages. You didn't thank me for them.
They weren't very complimentary.
Fitzy, great Parnell's man for a long number of years. I'm sure you're looking forward to Sunday.
Absolutely. It's been probably been a while now since we've graced the fields on final Sunday. Really looking forward to it. Games have been brilliant out here this year. I mean, you guys just talked about the crowds that are back in Gilly Park, the standard of football that has been played out there has been absolutely fantastic. So it has. So really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and striking too. We touched on it there with Rory and with Luke, and the impact that the county lads have made coming out this year, because obviously the standards of fitness and conditioning and all that is huge. So they've obviously contributed massively as well.
They have, and normally you see over the historically during the years there, you'll get a bunch of players that are heading to, it's Chicago this year, 1 year then it could be Boston next year, it could be San Fran, it could be et cetera, but it's brilliant they're here, trying to get things kicked back off after a couple of years off. One of the massive things for the Parnells is, great bunch of players out there. But we also have the likes of Rory there, and you got your Sean Evans and Tom Dolans or Tom Gillens and that there, who are benefiting massively from having these guys out with them. And but to see these guys come up through the youth, probably weren't expecting to be playing on the grace in the field with 10 county players, I suppose. And but it's going to really benefit those guys in the long run, and it's great to see.
Yeah, it's phenomenal to see, really, and compliments to Rory. I mean, he came up, one of the lads, and there's more obviously than him, but just using him as an example there. He came up through the youth ranks, through the Parnells, and he's stuck with it, and he's made it number 6 jersey his own. He's a credit.
Yeah, and that's that's what we're looking for out here. We just finished up CYC. You see the standard of football that was played out there. These guys have been playing the sport as young as, they've started at U8s. Rory's played all the way up, and same as Tom, same as a bunch of the lads in various clubs in the town here. And very successful CYC just passed there, and we can see more coming through. Looking at the U17, U18 games there, a bunch of Parnell's affiliations, and we're looking forward to getting them boys in the ranks as well.
There's a good contingent from your county, Garrett. We kind of overlooked there when I was mentioning Myler and McKiernan and O'Neill, but Barry O'Hagan would get his place on an enormous amount of teams in Ireland.
Definitely. The Kilcoo lads, you got the Kilcoo lads out there as well there, we've got Anriach, there's Hilltown, there's a great contingent of Down lads out playing for the Parnell this year. I think one of the strengths that the boys have now is that they have boys were talking about Frankie managing along the line there, great club servant over the years. He's actually got so if the guys there are, the starting five are not performing, he can look to the bench and the last couple of weeks there you're bringing on Dilly Ward, you're bringing on Galen Doherty.
You have a big squad. You have a really big squad.
Yeah, and they're going to need every one of them. I mean, Sunday's going to be 100 degrees and it's going to be hot, and I think if the changes are made at the right time there, the result could go the Parnell's way. But going back to like Barry O'Hagan there, Barry's been out here a couple of years now. I mean, he's got a massive engine in him, and I mean, he's an absolute fantastic player.
Does it amaze you, Garrett, when you see, I know you're involved yourself, but when you see James Staunton and Frankie on the line every year, how they keep going? Shrek and all the guys.
I'm delighted there because that stops my phone from ringing, But no, James and Frankie, I mean, two stalwarts of the club there. They were there when the club was founded back in the mid '80s, and a credit in that they're still there. It's brilliant to see.
Yeah, you'd have to reiterate again the amount of effort it takes. Like a lot of us were involved in clubs at home and stuff like that, but it's a whole different ball game out here. It's it takes a lot of money to run it. It takes a lot of organisation, a lot of commitment, and it's a huge effort on everyone's part. So hats off to them. Fair play to them. Nicky, we're just looking at the banner there behind us. Anyone that didn't know, Nicky, you're sponsoring Chicago Finals Monday, which promises to be a great event. Can you just give us a little trip down memory lane there and, through all the Chicago Mondays?
I don't remember a lot of them, to be quite honest. But hopefully Sunday evening we'll have the Parnells here with the cup, so we'll be filling that first.
Wow, there you
we'll
go.
Worry about Monday afterwards. So hopefully. Yeah, there'll be no work on Mondays anyway.
I can remember one particular Monday when there was a certain Kilkenny man, just as well Brian Cody is retired. I remember him. I was going round. He was derobing himself. He started at that door there, and by the time he got as far as the pool room, he was naked. And I was picking up the clothes.
More than yourself, you don't mind doing the dirty laundry in public, do you?
Well, we had some comical days here on final Mondays, but for anyone at home, it's a comical show, all right.
It's an annual event, absolutely.
It's an annual event, and it's like
and Tuesday usually too.
You can spill into the Tuesday. Spill being the operative word, but it's a bit like the pilgrimage to Croagh Patrick. I mean, it's just an annual thing every year. You got to do it, and that's it. It's
hopefully it'll all go well, right?
And it's tougher. I think it's tougher on the body than Croagh Patrick. Have you?
Might have to miss this year.
So tell us, anyways. You're back. You're back. 100%. You're. I seen you out walking at 6 a.m. in the morning, Nicky. Yeah, he's. Yeah.
If Rory doesn't pass his fitness test, I might take over myself.
I'd say so. James, keep that number 13 shirt free. You might have an impact sub.
Small now, I don't think it.
So, and of course, everybody at home, big shout out to all the Glynns at home. I'm sure they're all looking in, or will be looking in possibly. So, fair play to them. They looked after you like a lamb for the last 2 months.
Well, some of these teams have looked after you as well, in fairness.
I was so delighted when Nicky came back because, to be quite honest, Nicky, the reports I was getting wasn't good. One man said it's never a good sign when you see the undertaker visiting a patient in the hospital, but when he has a small fella along with him, the local tailor, and a tape round his neck, it's definitely not good.
Just, I don't know, Nicky. Now
terrible twins. Yeah.
The terrible.
You couldn't find
Monday.
in the whole of the world for podcasts or TV. You couldn't find two bigger rogues than the two of you. I swear to God.
I'm sure there'd be quite a few
As
people.
water found its level with G2 anyway, there's no doubt about that.
I forgave Nicky for a comment he made. Was I came back here in 2013 after spending 7 years at home, and Quinn picked me up at the airport, and he had the speakerphone on, and Nicky said, "Did you pick up The Fugitive?"
That was a little bit inopportune that I hit speaker on the phone, but anyways, sure, look at. We're here now anyway, and it's going to be a great weekend, I'd say, Nicky. It's going to be a great day on Sunday.
It should be, yeah, once the old heat slows down a bit. More good Guinness there,
you.
and
No,
it's only
yeah.
$5 a pint, by the way.
There
which
you
is
go.
The cheapest pint, we can't sell it for that. The fucking. Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Thank you, Annie. That's Annie Redmond there. We're being sponsored by Guinness, and that's our local Guinness rep, Annie. Fair play to her. She comes out and she.
And she's well able to throw back a few herself as well,
She
which
is.
is good.
Fair play to her. She comes out on Sundays and she gives us
you're
a
well
hand.
able to throw back a few yourself, which is good.
And she's stalwart there on Sundays. She comes out and gives us a hand with the podcast as well and the live feeds. Biggest shout out of the night. I can't let it go without saying Mary, her sister, Mary Redmond. She's. As I said to her at the bar, I got her a drink when I came in, and I said, she said, "You don't have to do that," and I said, "Of course I do." I said, "You're doing all the hard work, the donkey work, and we are taking the credit." So, Mary, thank you very much. So,
No, Mary.
Nicky, prediction for Sunday. I'm going to ask Fitzy as well, but I'm funny feeling I know what he's going to say. What do you think?
Is that the Camogie or the?
We'll go for all three games. We'll go for the trifecta. We'll start with the intermediate men's at 1 o'clock. Who do you think? McBride's and the Pearsons.
McBride's will win that one, yeah.
McBride should be their favourites to win it. So
Bridget's and
the Bridgets and the women,
yes.
yeah.
And of course the Parnells.
And of course the Parnells. There you go. So that's I'm going
Well,
straight.
Rory has to play now. That's the only thing. Rory has to.
Rory has got to
he
play.
has to pass that fitness
test. Yeah,
So
there you go. I'll be out with you, Rory. I'll give you a
just
bit
don't
of a
sit on him or anything, or he'll never.
Yeah, I'm going straight to the OTB tomorrow now to put on my trifecta. Fitzy, what do you think? 3 games?
Pretty similar there, or exact same. Yeah, I think McBride's will pip the intermediate. Bridges ladies and the head and the heart tells me Parnells.
By Jesus, when the head and heart comes together, it's very difficult to disagree with
Well,
them.
heart ain't great no more than my own either. You have to be careful.
Nicky, 20 of these will do your heart good.
Exactly.
So, yeah, thanks, boys. I think we covered everything. Scruff, looking forward to Sunday, as I said. It's going to be a great day. And probably looking forward to Monday even more, with the help of God.
Yeah, I'll be in Florida on Monday, John, unfortunately, at work. But I'll be thinking of you.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I have to work on Monday. But I hope you enjoy Monday here. So I'll stick to my prediction from the very start, the Parnells by 3 or 4.
Very good. And it certainly won't be the same without you, Scruff, on Monday. But we'll have the pleasure of your company on Sunday. I think Nicky is coming up as well to the booth. And, of course, we'll have Fitzy and we'll have a few guests on Sunday as well on our panel.
We have an elevator installed for bringing people up to the...
That's right.
Sunday.
That's right, yeah. We have... It's called a teleporter. So... as I said, it's going to be a great day on Sunday. The predictions, as the boys said, I think it's pretty much I would agree with. I think the McBrides are favourites, justifiably favourites for the intermediate. The ladies, I think the Bridgets might just have a little bit too much for the Gales. And I think the senior game is going to be a cracking game. But, I do honestly believe, I think the Parnells are a really good team. They're hungry this year. The semi-final, they had to battle. And I think that battling, that game will bring them on an awful lot.
And anybody joining us in Ireland, they can join us from right after 1 o'clock.
Absolutely.
7 o'clock Irish time.
7 o'clock Irish time. We'll be on air maybe a couple of minutes before it, 5 minutes or so, to get the anthems and that. So, yeah, you're all welcome to join in. Hopefully you will. And as I said, it's going to be a very entertaining game. And, look out for some photos on Facebook or whatever on Monday. That's going to be even more entertaining, let me tell you. So, from all here, I think we've covered everything. It's been a great hour or so. We've had some great guests. Thanks to everybody that showed up, including our audience here in Lanigan's Irish Pub here on 111th Street. Thanks to Tom O'Donnell. Thanks to Teresa, I see inside the bar. I see Michelle there. Thanks to Mary and Annie. The birthday girl is here as well. Kerry McCann, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be interviewing her on Sunday. I could be interviewing her Sunday night, Monday morning, Monday night, whoever.
You could be interviewing her at closing time.
Great character, folks. Kerry McCann, she's birthday the other day, so a big shout out, happy birthday.
And genuinely, Nicky, good to see you back.
Great to see Nicky back. Fair play.
Gareth.
Thank you, Fitzy. Well done. Thank you, Nicholas. And shout out to my nephew who's out for 6 weeks. He's below Ursula, my sister, and Paul, my brother-in-law. And Owen, his brother, he's safe. He's here. He's only on his 13th bottle, so
I know, and
he's not bad. He's okay.
He's enjoying work, and he's enjoying female J1ers even more.
All right. Well, then, without further ado, from Lanigan's Irish Bar here on in Mount Greenwood on 111th Street, we wish you a very good night, and thanks for joining us.
There'll be. It's interesting you said that the last time the Parnells were in the final, that you said, will there be a cow milked in Chicago? The last time they won it here, there was a man on which I won't mention, on an opposition team, and he says bullocks will bull heifers before they win it again. But they're here now.
He'd be eating his words now, I'd say, Paddy, there won't be one cow milk. They'll be going round with elders on them the size of my head until Friday or Saturday. There'll be no cow milk at all, I'd say, for a week. If the Parnells win it, the Lord Almighty save us. But anyway, the best of luck to all the teams on Sunday. It's going to be a great day. Thanks for joining us, folks. Thanks to all the people that was here. We'll let you get back to enjoying the music and a bit of crack and a few drinks, and we'll talk to you on Sunday. All right.
Bye for now.